So I'm going to be taking some notes. I'm going to be learning Maya today. Doing a study course on this just by going to YouTube and looking up this guy. His name is Online Media Tutor. So I'm going to be doing what he does, and I'm going to be note taking. I will stop his YouTube thing. I'm going to start this over.
And rendering, and by the time you finish, you'll have created the image that you...
Let's restart this.
It's final exams week, and that means two things. The library is packed.
This is July 12th, 2016, Tuesday.
And if I want to get A's on those papers, they better be free of typos.
10:53.
Grammarly is my secret weapon.
Central Time.
It's more than a simple spelling or grammar checker. Grammarly catches 10 times as many errors as Microsoft Word. It helps me with word choice, punctuation, and sentence structure. It's super easy to use and saves me a ton of time.
Still trying to wake up.
With Grammarly, you can be sure that you're always bringing your A game.
Well, looks like I won't be needing this anymore.
Settings that you can turn on that may actually save your life. That is, the first step, the first thing that we need to do in Maya is to set up a project. And what a project is one folder which contains a lot of other folders that contain all the assets, geometry, textures, etc. for the project that you're working on. And it's really important that we do this properly. Otherwise, once you start rendering later, things can go wrong. So, the first thing you'll need to do is, outside of Maya, just create a folder somewhere.
That's what I've already did.
I'm just going to call this
my project right here.
Projects. And I'm just going to leave it on my desktop for now, which will be fine for what we're doing today. And then what I'm going to do is go back into Maya, and I'm going to click on File, and I'm going to go down to the project window and click on that. Okay, this is the project window. The first thing we'll need to do, you'll notice that you can't click where it says default.
It is really
you need to click on the button that says
just because,
which contains each step back to back. If you're happy with that, then just hang on a sec and we'll get underway. But if you prefer to go into a playlist where each step is broken down into its own video, then click the link on screen. Okay, let's get stuck in. Okay, so the first step, the first thing that we need to do in Maya is to set up a project. And what a project is one folder which contains a lot of other folders that contain all the assets, geometry, textures, etc. for the project that you're working on. And it's really important that you do this properly. Otherwise, once you start rendering later, things can go wrong. So, the first thing you'll need to do is, outside of Maya, just create a folder somewhere. And I'm just going to call this...
There we go.
Maya.
A little bit better, so I can see what the heck he's
projects. Doing. And I'm just going to leave it on my desktop for now, which will be fine for what we're doing today. And then what I'm going to do is go back into Maya, and I'm going to click on File, and I'm going to go down to the project window and click on that. Okay, this is the project window. The first thing you'll need to do, you'll notice that you can't click where it says
I already
default.
did what he said.
You need to click on the button that says New.
Click New.
And then you can give your project a name. Now I know that I'm going to create a room, so that's what I'm going to call my project. ROOM. And then you need to choose the location. So I'm going to click on this folder icon, and then I'm going to go to desktop, and there's my Maya projects folder, and I'm going to select that. Now here, you can see it's given a list of all the folders it's going to create and the names it's going to give to them. I'm happy with the defaults, I'm very used to the defaults, so I'm going to leave that as it is and click on Accept. There we go, and that's how you create a project in Maya. Now, just to show you what that's done, I'm just going to go into that folder, and you can see I've now got a room folder within that, which is the project folder, and then inside there are all those folders that have been created. So we now have a folder structure set up for the rest of our work.
So hold on.
The next thing you'll need...
What I'm going to do is I'm taking notes as I go through this as well. So I went up to File, Project window. project, project window. Project window. Press new. Press new. Pick desktop file. And give your project a name. Now he's doing it to use the current project's name as room.
Need to know how to do is how to create a new scene.
Yep.
What a scene is it's the single file that contains all of your geometry and then links out to things such as your texture files. And it's really important that you know how to make them and how to save them. So that's what we'll look at. So to create a new scene, you can just click on File, New Scene. Dead easy.
File,
It'll ask you if you want to save the current scene. There's nothing in it, so we don't.
Nothing in it.
And that's done. So that's really straightforward. It's not something we strictly needed to do, but it's something that you needed to know how to do. The next thing that you need to be able to do is to be able to save a scene. And this is really important. If you don't save your work in Maya and save your work regularly, you will lose it. Guaranteed. Maya is a cruel mistress, and sometimes she wants you to fail. So let's try and avoid that. So to be able to save a scene, what you do is you just click on File and Save Scene As.
File. Save scene as.
And you should notice that by default, because we've taken the time to set up the project, it's gone into the desktop, My Projects, Room, Scenes folder, which is where your scenes should go. Every file that you use should go in the right folder. And this one belongs in the Scenes one. You've got a choice of file.
If this video has helped you out, then please hit that like button. It helps others to find these videos. For sure, man. You know what? I definitely will.
Types. There's Maya Binary or Maya ASCII. I used to use Maya Binary all the time.
I have
but
Maya
I don't
ASCII
recommend
right
Maya
now.
ASCII because it's more likely.
Yeah, what he goes into is Maya ASCII actually is a compatibility between the newest thing of Maya and the older version. So that's one thing I have to write down as well. To save, what did I go to again? I went to File. Look, I'll go back. I'm learning this step by step. I'm going to probably go over this a few times without doing an actual video.
And that's done. So that's really straightforward. It's not something we strictly needed to do, but it's something that you needed to know how to do. The next thing that you need to be able to do is to be able to save a scene. And this is really important. If you don't save your work in Maya and save your work regularly, you will lose it. Guaranteed. Maya is a cruel mistress, and sometimes she wants you to fail. So let's try and avoid that. So to be able to save a scene, what you do is you just click on File and Save Scene As.
File. Save scene as. I'll do it. Save scene as.
And you should notice that by default, because we've taken the time to set up the project, it's gone into the desktop, My Projects, Room, Scenes folder, which is where your scenes should go. Every file that you use should go in the right folder. And this one belongs in the Scenes one. You've got a choice of file types. There's Maya binary or Maya ASCII. I used to use Maya binary all the time, but I now recommend Maya ASCII because it's more likely to allow you to be backwards compatible. So I'm creating this in Maya 2016, and if I wanted to then open that scene in 2014, I'd have a better chance of that working if it's an ASCII file type. So I'm going to change that to ASCII, and then I'm going to call it room and save. And that's how you save a scene.
So hold on just a moment. I'm going to go back again.
And this is really important. If you don't save your work in Maya and save your work regularly, you will lose it. Guaranteed.
I will keep doing this throughout this entire thing.
So let's try and avoid that. So to be able to save a scene, what you do is you just click on File and Save Scene As. And you should notice that by default, because we've taken the time to set up the project, it's gone into the desktop Maya Projects Room Scenes folder, which is where your scenes should go. Every file that you use should go in the right folder. And this one belongs in the Scenes one. You've got a choice of file types. There's Maya binary or Maya ASCII. I used to use Maya binary all the time, but I now recommend Maya ASCII because it's more likely to allow you to be backwards compatible. So I'm creating this in Maya 2016, and if I wanted to then open that scene in 2014, I'd have a better chance of that working if it's an ASCII file type. So I'm going to change that to ASCII, and then I'm going to call it room.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and do this. Room. And yeah, I guess that's what I have right here. I've already did this part, so what I'm going to do is delete that. And I'll go on to the next part.
Save. And that's how you save a scene.
Tutor for Beginner Step 3. Menu sets and shelves in Maya 2016. Okay, here we go.
The next thing we're going to look at is the menu sets and the shelves. In Maya, there are a ridiculous amount of menus and so many tools that they can't all fit on the screen at once. So the way they've got around this is they've set up different shelves and different menu sets, and you'll change the menu set depending on what you're doing, and the same goes for shelves. For what we're doing, we need to make sure that you're on the modelling menu set and the polygon shelf. So by default, I am
modeling right here, guys.
Say we're not, for whatever reason.
Breaking animation
the way you change them to your menu sets,
modeling.
It's this drop down box here, and you'll notice that something like the first 6 options, maybe 7, stay the same, but after that they change. So I'm going to change to modelling, and you'll see that after Windows, all of these change to become relevant to modelling.
Oh.
And then you can see the shelves here, everything relates to curves or surfaces, but I want polygons. And you can see I've now got the polygon shelf activated. So I've got all the tools I need in one place.
Okay, I'm on step 4.
In this step, I'm going to show you 3 settings that you can turn on that may actually save your life. That is infinite undos, autosave.
Infinite undos. Okay. Undos. Now what do you say? Go back just a little bit.
Into modelling. And then you can see the shelves here, everything relates to curves or surfaces, but I want polygons.
This is an hour 45 minutes, or hour 50 minutes. It's going to take me a lot longer than that, double time, because I'm going step by step with this guy.
You can see I've now got the polygon shelf activated. So I've got all the tools I need in one place.
In
this step,
autosave, incremental saving, and infinite undos. Okay. Infinite undos, autosave. So I'm going to do this in steps. A lot of this stuff I just wrote down. I should have actually wrote as the step goes, but I just wrote down some stuff. You know, go to File, go to Project, go to Press New. Infinite undos, autosave. incremental saving. Oops. So this entire book has nothing else in it. It's really glued toward this entire Maya program.
I'm going to show you 3 settings that you can turn on that may actually save your life. That is infinite undos, autosave, and incremental saving. As I have already said, Maya kind of likes letting you lose your work, and we need to put measures in place to prevent Maya from doing that. So let's look at how we do it. So the first thing we're going to do is enable autosave. So in order to do that, we're going to click on Windows.
Okay, Windows.
We're going to go to Settings and Preferences,
Settings and Preferences.
and then go to
Preferences. Windows. Settings, Preferences. Go to Preferences.
Preferences. Then we'll just.
What I'm going to have to do is write this down as well. So, Windows. Only reason why I'm writing this down is because so I can remember it. It's almost like speaking inside your mind and just trying to memorize the brand new stuff. Like, this is brand new software to me. I've never touched Maya, like, at all. So, this is my first time going into Maya. And yesterday I was just kind of messing around with it, but here we go, you know. So, how did I do that again? Windows. Settings / preferences. Preferences. One thing I want to look at right now. I'm gonna look for a file real quick. Some of my pictures I thought went missing just the other day, but I don't know. Some things just worry me at times. So let's do this. Windows, settings, preferences. Now,
enlarge this window a little bit. And then in this window,
enlarge it.
We need to find the Files Project section, so I'll click on that.
File Project section. Where is it? File Projects. Right there. File / projects.
And then you will see that under the autosave section, you can put a tick in the box for enable.
Click click enable. And okay, it just sounds. I'm just doing this just because of for my reference. I can always go back to his video, and I can always go back to this book.
And then you can set how often you would like that to happen. For me, 10 minutes is okay. I don't want it to save every 2 minutes because that will interrupt my workflow, and I don't want it saving every 1 hour because then if anything does happen like Maya crashes, then I might have to redo 59 minutes worth of work, which would make me really sad. So,
oh yeah, that pissed me off.
The next thing we're going to look at is undos. By default, Maya only lets you undo 50 actions, which means if you have made a lot of changes, if you've been working on the project for a while.
So, okay, that was the autosave. Save in minutes. 10 minutes. This other part. Undos. Now I like the idea of infinite undos.
And you need to go back, you've realised that something went wrong at the sort of early stages, so you need to undo to get back to that stage.
I will subscribe.
You might be 100, 200 actions down the line and you're not going to be able to undo. So that means you're going to have to start again. So the way to give yourself unlimited undos is to scroll down to the undo section.
Okay. Undo section.
And you'll see that undo is turned on. It should always be turned on. And at the moment, the queue says it's finite and we can only have 50 actions. That's mental. Unless you're really low on RAM or something, you should never really, I think, have a queue size at all. So we're going to go to infinite. That means that no matter what we do, we can always go back to
turn on queue.
When we originally opened Maya, press Control and Z and it'll take you right back to the beginning. Yes. The next thing we're going to turn on is incremental saving, and this really works in tandem with the autosave feature that we turned on earlier. What incremental saving means...
Hold on. Okay, what I'm going to do is underline this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to write that word. Incremental saving. Now what it is
that when Maya saves a scene, it gives it a new file name. So
saving a file name. This is good information, guys. So we'll start that when Maya saves a scene, it gives it a new file name. So we'll start with room.
We'll start with room, and then the next one will be room 1, then room 2. And what that means...
start with room. Room. Then room 1, then 2.
Is that if you've made a catastrophic error, and it happens a lot, believe me, and you might have done that early on, and then everything you've done since that's built on that has just been wrong because of that mistake you made. If you've just been saving over the same file, you can't go back because you've saved the changes in. But if you know that you made that error in room 4, then you can reopen the room 4 file and then kind of branch off in a different direction. So it's a really, really useful feature. So in order to do that, we're going to click on save because we're doing this preferences window now. So we'll save those preferences. And to turn on incremental saving, that lives in a different area.
Save preferences. turn on, and to turn on incremental saving, that is a different area you click. Excuse me. That's a full page right there, man.
And you click on File, and
okay, hold on. Incremental saving. Oh, I got one more line on this page. On the file, and then click on file, and then you see save scene, but to the right of it there's a little box. Okay, file. Man, I gotta learn how to
then you'll see Save Scene, but to the right of it there's a little box. Whenever you see one of those little boxes in Maya, that means there's some additional settings are available, and if you click on that, it will open a new one.
File, save scene, click box, extra, options. Hopefully I can read my own dang writing. Okay, continue to the other page. So, file, save scene, click this box.
So we'll do that. Here it is. And you can see that there is now a tick for incremental saving. You can limit the amount that it does. I'm not going to do that. If you're short on storage space, then you might want to do that. But I've got plenty of storage space, so I'm just going to let it save as many as it needs. And then I'm just going to click on Save and Close. That now means that incremental saving is turned up.
Save and close.
And I'm less likely to make any mistakes that I can't come back from.
¿Sabes lo que me encanta de este lugar? Que siempre está igual.
What I'm gonna do is
La silla.
skip this, and what I'm gonna do is pause it, and I'm gonna go get some more coffee. Before that, Maya 2016. For beginners. Step 5. Create and resize polygon. This is cool. Polygon cube. Okay, I'll be right back, guys. Alright guys, I am back. I have a few reasons for doing this video. In fact, I should probably just say it right now. I've been going through some problematic situations with stupid people that have been saying the wrong words to me. Like, yesterday I was trying to speak to people about video gaming and, you know, programs and such. There is a lot of like immature assholes out there that like putting down anybody that does anything like this. I was playing Rainbow Six, just talking, and I was on my Twitch stream. A few guys up on, well, maybe I wasn't on Twitch stream at the time, but yeah. These guys were telling me like, oh, all you do is sit in your ass and play video games all day. And man, I didn't say anything wrong to these people. They were just attacking me with no fucking such thing as they don't even know me kind of thing. So, I'm doing this video and I'm trying to learn this. Fucking serious. It's just people that do that I fucking hate. I'm getting tired of people like putting down people that are willing to learn. So I wanted to do this video for clarification to some of my buddies as well, because I like to draw and I really want to model a drawing. You know, kind of dig around with Unreal. I will do a video on the Unreal Engine and I have to also learn that. So here we go, guys. Going to continue this.
Now that Maya's set up for us, in this step we're going to look at actually getting some modelling done. We're going to make something, and we're going to make a room. So what I'm going to do is throughout this tutorial I'm going to show you different ways of doing everything, because the thing about Maya is there are about 20 ways of doing absolutely everything, and you'll find your own preferred way, or the way that is fastest for you. And I'm going to introduce you to some different ways. So the first thing we're going to do is create a cube, and we're going to do that from the Create menu.
Okay.
So we click on Create. You can see that there are lots of options here. We're going to choose...
Oh, hold on. I didn't know you had to use that menu. I thought you... My first intention was you have to just go from here. Curve surfaces, polygon, sculpting, rigging, whatever. But okay. You have to go up to Create. Go to Create, and I also have a bunch of other things on here as well. Autodesk Inventor, AutoCAD 2017. You know, I went to college. Now I'm still pretty much a student, so just going on with this.
Click on Primitives. And we're going to...
Hold on. Create. I'll tell you what, I'm a student every fucking day. And that's the coolest thing about trying to learn. Cube.
Find cube, but there's a setting I want to change before I create it. So I'm going to go to the options box for cube.
Then options box. See, I'm going to do that right here. Create polygon primitives cube. Click the box.
And what I want to make sure is that normalization, so that tick box there for normalize, is turned off. And it doesn't actually affect the way the cube works, but what it does is it alters the texture space. And it won't make any difference yet, but it will later when we come to texture in the cube. So I'm just going to turn that off.
Turn off normalize. Because of texture. It's probably texture manipulation. I'm not sure. Yeah, and if you guys seen that, I do have Substance Designer, Substance Painter 2 Designer, and the other program. It cost me about almost $300 on the Steam Summer Sale. So I'm not just fucking kidding about doing what I want to do. And I have yet to learn Substance Designer, Painter. Painter, that one is so fucking rad. You can paint on your models. So, I'm just trying to do this the right kind of way.
And then click on Create. And then you'll see that we have a cube at the center of the grid. The center of the grid is called the origin, 0, 0,
point of
0.
origin.
You'll see over here on the right of the screen that you've got...
Consider supporting my work. Help me to create more tutorials like this one. Huh. You know, someday I might be able to do that, but I don't think I will. Creating tutorials for people so they learn. I'm the one watching this guy, so I can learn.
The channel box layer editor, and that will tell you that you've created a cube. There it is, pcube1, and it'll give you all the sort of statistics, the properties of that cube. So you can see that it's placed at 0, 0, 0. The scale is 1 by 1 by 1, and there are a few other things that we can change as well. When you create your cube, it may or may not look like mine. It's likely to look the same as mine because I've got the default preferences of Maya turned on. But there's every chance that it'll also be in wireframe view. And at this stage, I'd actually prefer to work in wireframe. So at the moment, you can see we've got this shaded view on, so it's like a grey cube, but I want it to look see-through. So there are two ways of doing that. You can either click on this icon here, which is wireframe mode. There you go. Or you can press number 4 on your keyboard, like that.
Oh.
So that's what we're going to do.
That's what I was messing with yesterday too.
Which is resizing the cube. So to resize the cube, we're actually going to work in the channel box for it. And what I'm going to do, because I've got, I'm kind of struggling for screen real estate, there's not a lot of space here, I'm just going to drag this down here just to hide the layers bit. And that reveals this input section.
Yep.
You'll see polycube 1. And it's here that I want to change the size and shape of the cube to represent the room I'm creating. So I want a width of 25. And then I'll press enter.
25.
A height of 10 and a depth of 25. And that will give you the basic dimensions of the room that we want to create. The next thing we need to do is rename this cube. By the time you've got a full scene full of assets, you could have hundreds and hundreds of cubes. And if they're all called polycube number, you're never going to be able to find what it is you're looking for. So it's much easier to give every object that you create a descriptive name as you create it, so that down the line, if you need to make alterations or find it if it's hidden, or maybe there are 500 cubes all close together, you'll be able to find it in the outline. So I'm going to scroll up to the top of my channel box, and you can see where it says pcube1. If I click once on that, it then becomes an editable field, and I can write in there and give it a new name.
I just don't know what he did. So right there, cube 1,
So
and what is he going to call it?
Room. And press enter.
Okay. Room.
Enter. And that now has a new.
So every time, so I'm going to write this. Every time creating a box, or well, cube, whatever you call it. Use wireframe. Wireframe and name Name the top. Room. Because this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna be creating a room with a backdrop and all this other stuff.
Name. It's really important that when you rename something that you remember to press enter, because if you...
Oh yeah, and press enter. Remember, always press enter on in
click it, forget to put a name in, and then click somewhere else, it'll keep that as the name of it, and it just gets really mad at you. It won't let you then use that object or even delete it. So make sure you put a name in and press enter, and you'll be good. Promise. Okay. What we're going to look at now is how you...
Okay, hold on. It's okay. That's step 5. Going towards step 6. Step 6. Navigating. You know what else I could do? I do have a voice recorder at the same time, so I probably should record everything he's saying. I should have did it at the beginning as well as recording myself, so I can it's like hearing myself talk and then making myself remember. That in college is the best thing you can ever have, and I didn't have that. I did not have that to begin with.
Use the virtual camera in Maya.
Oops. Navigating. 3D. Space. Controlling the camera. Cool.
So what I'm talking about is how you navigate the scene. And to be able to do that, you need a 3-button mouse. Here's my ugly ass 3-button mouse. And you need a keyboard with an Alt key on it. And you use your mouse and your Alt key in combination to be able to move around.
Mouse slash Alt key. To move around. Most programs make people use shift. Sometimes you can just press the thing for right over here. Oops. I don't know what I just did.
So, if you hold Alt on your keyboard and click the left mouse button, it'll allow you to do this, which is known as tumbling around. And basically what it does is it makes it look like your object's rotating, but it's actually the camera's rotating.
So halt. That was pretty awesome. Left click. Rotates. I'm gonna say, yeah, rotates around the object in space. The other one,
rotating around the object. So there's that one. You can also hold Alt and the middle mouse button, and what this does is it dollies side to side. So you're now moving side to side in 3D space. And then the third button, the right mouse button,
hold on.
if you hold...
So Alt right click is panning left / right. Man, I am going through these papers. 2 papers down. The right mouse button. Oh no. Hold on, let's do that again. So, Alt. Not right button, it's the middle, the mouse button. Jeez. Not right click, it's the middle. Mouse button. And I'm pretty familiar with AutoCAD. Right when I went to it yesterday, I was just like, oh my gosh, this is the best version I've ever... I'm going to tell you what, AutoCAD 2017 is one of the best AutoCADs I've ever messed with. Like, the other day I was on there and all the memories start coming back to me. I'm like, whoa, shit, this is awesome. EXT, extrude, and, you know, trim, and oh my gosh.
That with the Alt on your keyboard, that will zoom in and out. So you're now moving.
Okay, zoom in and out. Okay, next paper. Hold. Right click.
Closer or further away from the object. You can also use the scroll wheel, that little chap there, if you've got one, and you can see that will also zoom in and out, but it kind of does it in fixed increments, which is useful. I use it quite a lot because it's quicker to zoom in and out than having to reach for the keyboard from nowhere near it, but it's not as accurate as the right mouse button, so that's just another option for you. Another thing that's really useful for navigating a scene are a couple of keyboard shortcuts which frame up objects. So let's say that I've lost myself in 3D space, and it does happen when you're scrolling. So let's say I've accidentally zoomed out too far and I've moved off to the side as well, and now...
Oh yeah, I hate that shit. Sometimes that does happen. Like you're like, where the fuck did I go? You can't see anything. So, I'm also gonna write this down. Shortcut keys. To finding object. If is not in the scene.
I've no idea where my cube is. If you have it selected, you can just press the F button on your keyboard, like that, and that will frame up.
What? Oh my gosh. F button. Find. That's probably what that means. Will frame up when you're lost. So equally, can you also press A button on? That's awesome.
What you've got selected. Equally, you can also press the A button on your keyboard, and that stands for frame all, and that'll
frame. We'll find object. So A frame all. Okay, cool. So if I had...
frame up everything in your scene. Now, because we've only...
Okay, cool. In scene?
got the cube, when I press it, it'll have exactly the same effect. But if I had 10 cubes in the scene, it would frame all of them so I can see all 10 rather than just showing me the one that I had selected. What we're going to do now is we're going to move this cube so that it's in line with this grid to represent floor height.
Hold on. I'm going to go back just a little bit.
The F button on your keyboard, like that, and that will frame up what you've got selected. Equally, you can also press the A button on your keyboard, and that stands for frame all, and that'll frame up everything in your scene. Now, because we've only got the cube, when I press it, it'll have exactly the same effect. But
cool.
If I had 10 cubes in the scene, it would frame all of them so I can see all 10 rather than just showing me the one that I had selected. What we're going to do now is we're going to move this cube so that it's...
Okay, now let's go to step 7. Using the move tool. What I'm going to tell him is notation. Thanks. Thanking for the video? I mean thanks for the video. I'm learning step by step from you and notation to remember. Using the move tool. Step 7.
In line with this grid to represent floor height. I'm going to do that using the move tool. As you can see, Maya's got
whoa, grid height
that are on screen. The F button on your keyboard,
okay,
like that, and that will frame up what you've got selected. Equally, you can also press the A button on your keyboard, and that stands for frame all, and that'll frame up everything in your scene. Now, because we've only got the cube, when I press it, it'll have exactly the same effect. But if I had 10 cubes in the scene, it would frame all of them so I can see all 10 rather than just showing me the one that I had selected. What we're going to do now is we're going to move this cube so that it's in line with this grid to represent floor height. I'm going to...
Moving cube. Floor height. Moving grid. This grid to represent floor height. Oh. So now we're gonna be learning how to move the point of origin. But yeah, pretty much it's like that grid. It's right there. We're going to be moving that, but I'm not quite sure if the cube's coming with it or not. I'm going to do that using the move tool.
Do that using the move tool. As you can see, Maya's got many tools that are on screen at once, but the 3 that we're interested in at the moment, well, 4. This one here is just the selection tool.
Selection tool. So the most important ones is 4 of these things. It's not coming up. Oh yeah, that's right. Selects objects and components in the scene and editor windows. Lasso tool selects objects and components in the scene by drawing a free-form shape around them.
And then you've got this chappy here, which is a move tool.
Alright.
Then there's a rotate tool and the scale tool. And right now we want the move tool. So I'm going to click on that little bad boy. And then you can see this manipulator appears. And that shows you can click on these manipulators and then drag to move the cube around. So if I was to drag on this green arrow, that will only move it up and down because I've just clicked on the arrow. If I do the same with the red one, it's only going to move it on the x-axis, and if I move it with this one, it's only moving on the z-axis. And to know which axis you are moving it on, let me just do that. You can see that you've got this in the bottom corner, which shows you where your axes are. So I know that one there represents up and down on the y-axis. So you can do that. What you can also do is grab this manipulator in the middle, and that will allow you to move on all 3 axes at once, and it'll just go all over the place. That actually, in your perspective view, your 3D view, is rarely a good idea because you've got no control over the depth. What is better is you've got these little squares that have been added, I think, in Maya 2016.
Guys,
So if I click on this red one, which red usually...
But let's go to move tool. I was just trying to here. I don't know how. Okay. What I'm gonna do is not do that. Halt. Now what's the rotate one? See, I'll go back. Right click is zoom in and out. Hold click. Halt, left click. Okay, so halt, left click. Oh, wow, how the fuck did I do that, man? Oh, it's because I rotated it, but I don't know where the undo is. That's one thing he forgot to mention. What is the undo button? Like, is it just undo? Yeah, that's one thing in his thing about where the undo is. That was, we did the preferences, but there was nothing about where the undo is, or what button is the undo. Is it you? I'm not quite sure, but let's just keep going along with this.
Corresponds to X. What it actually does is keeps it still on the X-axis and moves it on the other two. So if I click on that, it'll move that way and it'll move up and down, but it's not moving on the X-axis. And the same goes for here.
I don't know what I did right there.
Okay. And this one here won't move up, no matter what I do. It'll move into the distance, it'll move sideways, but it won't move up. So they're pretty useful. So what I want you to do is try and move this cube up as close as you can get it so that the bottom of the cube is in line with the grid. And you might want to just rotate your view a little bit to help you with this, and maybe zoom out. Or...
Hold on, man. I'll look right back at this stuff, and I'll try to find where the undo section turn on infinite. He just never said what the undo button is, so now I'm kind of lost. Usually, what I can do is type. Try to do this again. And get it in the right position. That's why that thing's right there. Yes. So. Okay. You see what I did here? I'm manipulating this a little bit, so I'm just going to put it in the kind of correct position. You know, this is just a tutorial anyway. I'm not being perfect. I do want to mess with this thing. But, hold far closer. So, what he's doing is, the reds, okay. I'm going to do it just like that. View a little bit to help you with this, and maybe zoom out or in. So,
okay. So I'm just going to move that up. I'm just going to try my bestest to get that in line with the grid. And that's not bad, that's pretty close. In fact, that's very close. I'm pleased with that. I'm now going to introduce you to the orthographic views. And what they are...
Okay. Hold on. Step 7. Step 8. Using the orthographic views. See, this is why notes are so good. If you are watching a video, you can always go back and say, hey, he did forget how, like to tell people what the undo button really is. It's probably just the word U, but, or the letter U on my keyboard, but I'm not quite sure yet. My keyboard should be in my lap. I got wires everywhere, it's a mess. But yeah, man, I gotta figure this shit out sooner or later.
Are views that don't incorporate perspective. So as you move things into the distance, into the background, they don't get any smaller, which for 3D modeling is really useful. So in order to get to those views, there are two ways of doing it. You can either click on this icon here.
Hold on just a moment. Panel. Okay, panel layout. Select different layouts from the view panel. Well, it doesn't really give the description for some odd reason. Selects different layouts from the view panel. Okay. Panel layout. Click panel layout. So I'm going to click that. Whoa. That is awesome. That is top, front, left, right, whatever. Yep. Now this is what AutoCAD does, but this is the coolest thing about Maya. I think Maya is one step click. There are other programs like Blender have you do a bunch of shit. Some like at this line right here, it has you do this, and then you create 2 camera scenes. I like the button a lot quicker. It feels a bit more really good because it's pretty awesome. I don't know, man. To explain to you that, this just works for me. I've been wanting to work in Maya.
Which will take you to the 4 view, or you can tap.
I do have Blender on here as well. I was learning it and
all the default
ran into some
Maya
problems.
settings, so you've not changed anything. So I'm just going to tap the spacebar once with my mouse pointer, making sure it's in this view somewhere, and that will take me to this 4 view. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put my mouse in each of these.
What I'm going to have to say right here, click panel layout, 4 views. Yeah, I almost forgot. So I'll draw a small picture of 4 boxes. And what I'm going to do, say what views they are. Top, perspective. Perspective is the XYZ all together. Front. I don't know, I'm kind of like... I've been hocked up on coffee all morning, man. Yeah. So, if I get a bit jittery, don't blame me. It's 11:58 right now. I woke up pretty early, and what I want to start doing is waking up very early and around 9 o'clock in the morning, start class. Pretty much this is what my class is right now.
Doodars, each of these views, and I'm just going to press 4 to turn on wireframe.
Oh,
so that
4.
I can see.
So you don't have to... The other thing of what he did was, each of these now have their own thing. Wireframe's right here. See, now he's teaching me that you can also press 4. 4 is the button. Easy for wireframe. And also that little box right there in each one. So this is kind of cool. Each view has all these menu items. I will pick that probably 4 button to make it way easier if I remember it. This is why I'm writing down this stuff, so I remember it. But I remember that that box is wireframe, so I'm going to do it different, so I don't have to press... Well, what other ones does he also want? And then I'm going to select the object.
See the grid behind a little more clearly. And then I'm just going to see if I can line this up any better. So I'm going to choose my front view, and once my pointer's in this view, I'm just going to tap spacebar, and that will just make that full.
Okay, what spacebar is doing is going to that one simple view. Spacebar is selecting the viewport. I like that idea for viewports. It's dang simple and I like it. It's selecting the viewport that is picked for larger view. So he picked this one, front, and he pressed spacebar. Now that's in the large view.
Full screen, and actually I'm pretty close already. There's not much closer I can get it, so I'm quite happy with that. So I'm already pretty much on the ground.
Hold on.
Best way to make sure that you've got it.
He did not say what that was. To make sure that you go it exactly on the ground is just the basic math. So hold on, I'll press spacebar one more time.
Exactly on the ground.
Oh shit. That was up in there. Okay, hold on. So spacebar is also to get out of it. Also gets out of viewports. Cool. So, wow, that's pretty awesome. No, I'm still in front. Hold on. He didn't tell us what he pressed. Hold on, I'm gonna go back.
To the distance into the background, they don't get any smaller, which for 3D modeling is really useful. So in order to get to those views, there are 2 ways of doing it. You can either click on this icon here, which will take you to the 4 view, or you can tap your spacebar, assuming that you've got all the default Maya settings, so you've not changed anything.
So that one is to go back right
with my mouse pointer, making sure it's in this view somewhere, and that will take me to this 4 view. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put my mouse in each of these doodars, each of these views, and I'm just going to press 4 to turn on wireframe.
Yep.
so that I can see the grid.
See, check that out, guys.
Clearly.
That's in the front view.
I'm just going to see if I can
I
line.
can pick either one, but this one also gets me right back.
So I'm going to choose my front view, and once
view.
my pointer's in this view, I'm just going to tap spacebar, and that will just make that full screen. And actually,
move forward
I'm
up.
pretty close already. There's not much closer I can get it. So I'm quite happy with that. So I'm already pretty much on the ground.
Okay.
But the best way to make sure that you've got it exactly on the ground is just with basic maths. We know that the cube we've created is 10 units high, and we created it at 0, 0, 0. So to make sure that we move it up exactly...
Well, to tell you the truth,
height,
right now what I can do is look at what his translation is, so I can fix all the problems right here. See, the problem what I made was I began to fuck around, and that's why it does not look the same thing of what he has right there. So what I'm going to do, go right here, 0, enter. Right here, 5.005, enter. Translation, 0, enter. See, I'm fixing it very slowly. 1, 1, 1, 1. All these ones are 0 right here. It's doing crazy shit, man. Look at that. There we go. Stability, Z1. Okay, scale, 1. There we go. Now, I should definitely remember this part right here will fix any of the issues that I unaccidentally did, but it's what I get for messing around. And this thing is set like this right now. Let's keep going.
To be in line with the floor, we just need to move it up 5 units on Y. So where it says translate Y, you see I'm actually very close to what I wanted. It should just be 5 exactly.
Okay.
And that now is perfectly in line with the bottom of the grid.
Awesome.
Okay, at this stage, I actually want to turn shading back on so I can...
Okay, let's go to... I like that. Well, also, side panel. I'll draw these boxes so it's really simple for me to remember. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 boxes. 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm just gonna do 5 of them, and then I'm gonna do those little pictures. Just doodle it, man. Just do it. Doodle. And then these boxes. This one, I'm going to circle this one because this is the one that does top perspective. This is the one that I did right here. The one that he was teaching us. And these other ones, he has not gotten into yet. I'm pretty sure he will be. Well, this is for beginners anyway. I am a beginner. And what I'm going to do, though, is save my work. Where is, yeah, save scene. I don't know why that's not picked. Save and close. Save scene. Click on there. Do you want to replace it? Yes. Yeah, exactly. This is for only personal learning. I'm not making money from this. And if I was going to make money from this, I'd have to really pay each month, pretty much.
And get a feel of what the shape actually looks like. So, making sure that my mouse is in this view somewhere, I'm just going to press
back.
is I'm just going to put my mouse in each of these doodads, to these views, and I'm just going to press 4 to turn on wireframe so that I can see the grid behind a little more.
Step 9, right.
And then I'm just going to see if I can line this up any better. So I'm going to choose my front view, and once my pointer's in this view, I'm just going to tap spacebar, and that will just make that full screen. And actually, I'm pretty close already. There's not much closer I can get it. So I'm quite happy with that. So I'm already pretty much on the ground. But the best way to make sure that you've got it exactly on the ground is just with basic maths. We know that the cube we've created is 10 units high, and we created it at 0, 0, 0.
Yeah, 10 units
high. So to
high.
make sure that we move it up exactly the right height to be in line with the floor, we just need to move it up 5 units on Y. So where it says translate Y, you see I'm actually very close to what I wanted. It should just be 5 exactly.
It's step 9, right?
And that now is perfectly in line with the bottom of the grid. Okay, at this stage, I actually want to turn shading back.
Step 9. Using backface, backtrace. I can't see what it says.
Back on so I can get a feel of what the shape.
Shit.
So I'm going to choose my front view, and once my pointer's in this view, I'm just going to tap spacebar, and that will just make that full screen. And actually,
that's
I'm pretty close already. There's not much closer I can get it. So I'm quite happy with that. So I'm already pretty much on the ground. But the best way to make sure that you've got it exactly on the ground is just with basic maths. We know that the cube we've created is 10 units high, and we created it at 0, 0, 0. So to make sure that we move it up exactly the right height to be in line with the floor, we just need to move it up 5 units on Y. So where it says translate Y, you see I'm actually very close to what I wanted. It should just be 5 exactly. And that now is perfectly in line with the bottom of the grid. Okay, at this stage, I actually want to turn shading back.
Okay. Backtrace. Culling. In fact, you know what? I don't know how long I've been doing this, but I started it actually at, tell you what time, 10:23 a.m. I also put, right here, 10:23 a.m. July 12th, 2016, Tuesday. So, guys, I've been at this for actual 2 hours, and this course is 1 hour and 48 minutes. I think I should come back to this later and do this video, continue this video at Tutorial for Beginners, Maya 2016, Step 9, using backtrace culling. I need to relax, probably eat something. Jeez, it's 12:11. Yeah, I'll be coming back to this later. And that's about it for the day. I'll be back later on, probably around, I'm gonna say 8-ish, or maybe around 6 or something. Want to get in a few games on PlayStation 4. Yeah, this has been a good learning experience. I am not going to take this off my my thing. Translate back to 5. Heck yeah. Awesome. I will continue this video later on, guys. I am a Jaffo exercise. I'm going to give you 15 seconds.